the one who was born to lead. A mentor, a teacher, a trainer. Experience is their greatest tool. Should be discerning, yet forever learning.
Private number, I think it was. Yeah.
I see something wrong with me, boys. So good morning. Good afternoon. I keep saying morning. It's 12:50. Good afternoon, Nicole. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Hope all is well. It is now about 10 minutes to 1 o'clock. And yeah, always a pleasure to be with you. And definitely today is no exception, especially when we have some really special guest in studio.
Yeah, one of my good friends. Very, very good. Well, not friend. They're not no friend again, I know. This can be friend. Let me get me friend. My sister.
It's family, sister.
My sister. Kareem just call me uncle. Good uncle, obey Lord. You can't say friend, you know. So in studio with me today, we have Miss Sherma Wilson. Oh boy. You're in for a treat today. A treat today. You know, I've known Sherma for much years, boy. Good. Wow. Too long. Think about it. I know you.
Back when I was on
Power 102, she was a radio announcer with Marcelle Hinvel. I know Marcelle. I got really familiar with Marcelle because of her UK connection.
Sure.
Yeah. Marcelle Hinvel, real active. You would have taught Marcelle some things about Trinidad that she was ignorant of, eh? Yeah. So I know you as a radio presenter. You are also an activist for your community. You also a mother. You are a businesswoman. And that's a side of people that's a side of you that people don't know, that you're a businesswoman. And well, you're retiring now too.
Of course. Sure enough.
And most of all, you love Trinidad and Tobago. You love this country called Trinidad. It has been good to you and your family.
Hey.
In spite of where you came from. And Miss Wilson is a product of the Beetham Gardens.
And I'll even go, well, let me say good afternoon. Good afternoon to all the listeners here on 91.1 Talk City.
I like how you watched it. We can't make that mistake, girl.
Yeah, you know, and good to be here, Google. Very, very, very good to be here. I think I was here in the past back then when we had this guy from where? From Barbados. He was a TV announcer.
That's many years ago.
Yeah,
yes,
many
broadcast.
years
I'm trying to remember his name.
Yeah. Even when Dr. Morgan Job was on, we did some television interviews here.
That's some time ago.
Yeah. So as Google, you're saying, Trinidad and Tobago, of course, has been good to me and my family and so many people and so many of us, but me personally, and I will tell you, see, you're saying I'm originally from Beetham Gardens, but I'm originally from Shanty Town.
Where's Shanty Town?
Shanty Town was located just above the Central Market in Port of Spain, so the flyover, and now we have the Orthodox Church on that land there, and the Excel Primary School.
Yeah.
So was that little area right there was the Shanty Town.
Sherma, you know, you already started to educate us, at least me, because I assumed that Shanty Town was renamed Beetham Estate. I thought it's one of the same.
No, Shanty Town was really a shanty town.
Okay.
With all the
explain what is a shanty town.
So a shanty town, of course, is what we look at. It I think is a little.
Tell the nation, be real.
Okay, so we have squatting areas. We have communities that will just pop up on on probably on state land or what have you. Right. So a shanty town, I think a shanty town in Trinidad is a shanty town that they will describe it as any other part of the world. So the lack of amenities, proper amenities. So no running water.
Right.
Right. No proper drainage.
Right.
houses built out of galvanized, wooden houses, right? Leaking roofs, everything that is dirt roads, right? Unpaved roads. So no lack of all the proper amenities that we would know of, right? And of course, poverty. So you'll have poor families, right? Have poor families. So
and the poor families, the community was close knit.
Very, very, very close.
Explain the close knit for me.
Close knit, because for instance, Julia Davy, her house was just opposite to ours, and our house, my mom's house, came into being. I think there was a fall cob on the spot, and when my mom's parents died, she was living with her adopted parents, and she got pregnant and had to move out the home and all of that, and her two brothers were already living in Shanty Town, right? So she told them when she have nobody to say, well, come down here and live, right? And they cleared a piece, they break down the fall cob. Yeah, and the neighbors got together with pieces of wood, of course, and galvanized, and built this 1-bedroom shack for us. Right, so most of the times it's just this, and so Juliet house was right opposite to us, but as you said before, closely knit. So this family could cook today, this family can't cook today or don't have enough today, this family will share with this family. So the exchange and barter and that kind of thing. So as a child growing up there, for me, while all the niceties that we may think of in life was missing, we as children really didn't miss that. We were happy because we get up and we get tea, sometimes with milk, without milk, but we get things to eat, right? We play together, we huddle together, we play games in the night, something you don't have happening these days, games like Tin Pan Alley and all of that, So, it had its negatives and it had its positive. Life was tough for our parents, right? My mother used to go on the dump, hustle rags, and they will come home, wash the rags, and I think they will take it to some place that will make mop. So they make I would sell it, I don't know if it's 10 cents a pound or what have you, and right here. Yeah. And then I remember my dad they got work there, boy. It was NHA at the time. Eric Williams looked into the situation and they hired them at NHA. They was the street sweepers in NHA. So, and then after, what you were speaking about a while ago, they decided to move the community and get rid of the Shanty Town.
Who decided to do that?
The government at the day, and that was the Prime Minister, Dr. Eric Williams. Right. So he decided to record the community really was the gateway into and out of Port of Spain. And it was really, very, really unsightly, And because of that, and of course, the living condition of the people. And so they came up with Beetham Gardens. But prior to Beetham Gardens, the people of Shanty Town, my parents, they were offered the houses that were newly built in Coconut Drive Mover. And you know what our parents said?
Tell me.
You wouldn't believe.
Tell me.
They say so far.
So even though the houses would have been better houses,
right?
They chose where they were.
But socially to them, they find that it was a sort of a displacement for them. We were right here. Remember in Shanty Town, right here, just Central Market. You walk into Port of Spain. You don't have to pay. You don't have to take a taxi, right? So they look at cost. They also, to me, I think, look at their economic situation, which was we were making a life out of the dump. When we go to Mova, but if you look at it now, in modern day time, Mova is just a stone throw away from Port of Spain. But they were grappling with all those things. And then Dr. Ecolem said, okay, if you're protesting and say you don't want to go to Mova, we're going to move you just higher up. And they developed the land higher up of the Shanty Town area. And that is why we are now in Beetham Gardens.
I want you to stick a pin on
so we go. I really like this song. I really, really like this song. This song is so relevant to not just the season that we're in, but to life on a whole, boy. Even though it may put you're hearing the politics within it and stuff like that, I love how they would have brought in the reality of a leader. What is a leader? You understand? A leader not only help your country to rise, but your community to rise, to help, you know, a leader. What is a leader?
And leaders are important in every aspect of life, in your job, as you said, in your community, at the level of the national level of, you know, a governance. Yeah, leadership is very, very, very important. Yeah.
May I ask a question? I am looking at you, and as I told you off air, I was trying to get on to your son many moons ago because I wanted to have a conversation with him. I heard of his testimony, and well, he's been pretty busy. But lo and behold, I am meeting his mother for the first time, and I am saying to myself, this young man come from good stock. This young man didn't have a choice to excel the way that he did. So I just want to commend you first and foremost.
Thank you so
for
much
the excellent job that you've done.
Thank you so much.
As I said, I heard about the testimony, but I'm glad that you're also here now. For those of us who may not be privy to all, you could kind of take us through, you know. So it's good to have you. I just thought I'd say that. So I'll be listening and just watching you and wondering how this young looking woman could have this big son and all that. But yeah, man, good to have you.
Thank you so much.
So we were talking about the transition from Shanty Town
to Beetham Gardens.
And you were saying before you went for the break, the NLC withdrawal, you were sharing with us the fact that the people wanted to stay where they were.
Yeah.
And they didn't. They now in hindsight, when you watch where
Mova is, it really wasn't a far cry from the city. Right. But one would understand it comes with the territory of moving, of transition. You know, we talk about seamless transition. And I think that is what our parents had in mind. They wanted a seamless transition where they wouldn't have too much of hurdles, you know, and hindrances in their way to continue with life. Right. So as I told you, most of the men at the time in the area got work with NHA. Right. And work up to their retirement age. Right. And we move on to Beetham. We were quite happy spanking new houses and all that.
Who built those houses?
But it was built by NHA under Eric Williams, the government of PNR.
So it means then that Dr. Eric Williams would have listened to the cries, to the opinion of the people.
Yeah.
Which is which is a very important trait of a leader.
You didn't tell them, you didn't tell them take it or leave it. We build these houses here in Mova. We have these houses here in Mova. You have to go there. He listened to what they said and their concerns. He may not have agreed with it, but he said, well, okay, let's see what we can do, how best we can facilitate you all. And they developed. They had to call those lands swamp land.
You know, some people that look at that and say that is handout and spoiling people and having people dependent. And stuff like that?
No, you can't say that. When you have people living in these conditions, as a Shanty Town conditions, as I told you, with lack of proper facilities and amenities, you can't say that is hand-on. You have to move your people away and out of that.
No, take move our nothing. Move our nothing.
No.
You know that there were leaders in this dispensation or this time, maybe I tell them that. Move or nothing. But we had a leader back then who thought about put himself in those persons' position. They have been always accustomed walking from where they live into Port of Spain. You understand? They were close knit. They were able to create a community among themselves. If I put them in Mova, you know, they will be separated in the sense of this one might be in that building, the other one in that building, but the one that they could get sugar from, they can't. You understand? So he looked and he put himself into that situation and said, yeah, what? All right. Let me send some some technocrats or whoever and see if we could put on something.
Higher up. Just as higher up. Yeah.
Wow.
And those lands were swamp land that we're on. Yeah, those lands were swamp land. They had to develop the land before, so the land wasn't prepared and ready for housing. Yep.
Wow.
And we had there some 40-something, 50-something.
There was a time when they changed the roof on those houses.
Yes, they changed the roof on the houses.
I was a young man. I remember I was working West Shore Medical. Was it?
That happened like about 20 years ago.
I was working West Shore Medical.
Yeah, it could have been 15, 20 years ago. Yeah.
And I remember when they changed. Who changed those roofs?
was a PNM government, of
nah,
course.
man, you is talking the truth. You come in here to mama kind people.
Yeah.
You serious? But okay, so you all would have got those houses. Some people develop them. Some people fix them up.
Most people, because it started off as a 2-bedroom apartment, and for instance,
Some
some
people have
people have 4 bedrooms. 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms now. They had 1, that 2. Yeah, because they had space. They had some a little space.
And that shows
to work
you
with,
people development. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that. So, wow. That that says a lot of why people why people appreciate and people believe that we have lived under certain conditions. We were moved from those conditions from this party. The PNM party has moved us from living in these conditions, put us in a better condition. You understand? They looked at our roofs. We made a plea to them. They changed the roofs. And from there, I would have developed from my home to what I wanted to look like.
Yeah, people, started new families, grew their families. Children went to school, and it was always convenient for schooling for us in Beetham and Laventille, because in almost every little community there's a primary school.
Yeah.
Then we got Success Success Laventille, right? So we had our own secondary school over Laventille. So schooling and education was very easy access.
Yeah.
And
then you get a trade school.
And we have a trade school, and then we have Serval. Let's not forget Serval, that is nestled for years.
Yeah.
Father Pantin back then, how many years ago, right? So it fit to place Serval Life Center.
Yes.
Right? In Nestle and Beetham up to this very day. And we have so many young people, not only from Beetham, that benefited from all over the country, that came to Beetham year after year after year and benefited, learned their trade. We have a lot of young men from Beetham who have grown now, who went there. Like my brother, they did electrical, they did the plumbing, they did the mechanic.
Come on.
Yeah.
Wow. And one of the things that Serval, I know, is known for, the ADP program.
The ADP program.
Adolescent Development Program.
I was a lecturer in that program as well. Yeah. I'm a product of Serval as well, I am also. I did my early childhood education training. I became an early childhood educator through Serval. Serval facilitated not only trainees from Trinidad and Tobago, but from across the Caribbean. So like Dominica, all those other countries, they would send their students across here to become early childhood educators.
Yeah.
And today, and I can tell you that the method that Serval used in training their teachers and what they want, of course, to pass on to our young charges, it stands the test of time today.
Of course it does.
Learning through play.
Yes.
Learning through play, a natural way of learning.
Of course, and that adolescent development program, it puts a demand on you to become a man or a woman, a proper man and woman in society. Teaches you about parenting and all these different things. I'm a product of Serval also.
Yeah.
I'll never forget Miss DeBeek and Miss Allison Semper and all of these persons are foundation people.
That's all. So Beetham has benefited in so many ways. Yeah, CCC. CCC is on Beetham Gardens.
Wow. And that is again for young people.
For young people.
Right.
For young peoples, right? Then we had the technology center. So when we hear this talk about the PNM never do nothing for Laventille, we know that by now, that is just rhetoric. We know that.
Right.
We know that very, very, very well.
Right. Some people will ask, with all those amenities and all those facilities, all those programs and things being available to the young people in the community, why does Beetham Gardens still have somewhat a stigma to people or mindset? It's like yesterday, I was going to La Hoqueta, and one of the young men who was in the vehicle, or the young man who was driving the vehicle, said to me, "I'm from Maloney, And the first thing that's come to your mind when you hear Maloney is the buildings. And you think about, this, that. Why?
Well, I guess it's stereotyping, but have us stuck in that, how we stereotype, and how we stigmatize, people. And we don't take the time to listen We don't take the time to look in. Yeah, because we, Beetham Gardens, produce so many productive, brilliant citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. We have, as I always tell people, Kareem is not the exception in Beetham, you know. Kareem is the rule. Kareem just happened to be, and I'm not trying to play down in any way. He is the first lawyer. That's the fact.
Right.
He's the first lawyer.
Yeah.
But we have a first engineer.
Right.
We have a first doctor.
Stop.
We have a first doctor.
Wait.
We have 2 doctors. And my cousin is a doctor. My cousin's daughter is a doctor.
What about the first pharmacist that I was able to interview?
We have a pharmacist. Her brother is an engineer. He's doing his PhD, his doctorate. I think and some people we have people who are bank managers.
Right.
And I could go on and on.
You have people who working in the public sector who are big, who are permanent secretaries.
Hospitals,
yeah.
Administrative part of and I can go on and on and on and on. That we have my little sister, come from a family of 13 brothers and sisters. She's a teacher. She's a primary school teacher. She's a primary school teacher, born and bred in the Beetham. Went to Belmont Junior Secondary School and then went on to Southeast. So we have been producing good people, good citizens.
Yes.
But as I said, the stereotyping and the stigmatizing, but we're gonna bypass all that.
But I want to know why is that? Why is that? Because why are we acting as though this is just a one-off thing and you are saying that there's so much that has been born and birthed in Beetham?
Because it's because of the lens, through the lens society look at us.
Okay.
And then, of course, the politics will come into play. So to tarnish the PNM and give the PNM a bad name out there, we're going to forget what we think we see or hearing, the good and the positive, and tell them, sell them this narrative. It's a narrative that nobody do nothing for you. The PNM do nothing for you. The place hard, it's suffering. And as I told them, the very same thing that they're echoing to you now here in this election, they did it in 2010, 2015, you're not going to hear them tell these stories to their children. They're not going to tell their children that the PNM doing nothing and the PNM government this. They go and take hold and charge of every single thing that is available to them from a PNM government. They're taking all the tertiary education. They're taking all the other vocational types of education, all the NSC. Go, they fill them up. They fill them up. The universities, they fill them up. They fill them up. And they become productive citizens, but they're selling our African children a narrative that, there is nothing good out there for you all. The PNM do nothing for you. And you can go from A to Z and find something in this country for all young people. You understand? So we have to get that out of our mind. We talk about leaders and leadership. So we have to see more Black leaders and leadership coming out of the Black community, bringing that awareness to our young people. Bringing that awareness to them that, there's something here in this country for you. Google almost, we could want to admit it and then want to admit it. Almost everything that we touch, use, walk on was produced, created by a PNM government from 1956 to now. They can say what I want.
Someone really become a good citizen. I'd like to know for sure. Why when the ordinary man disagrees with the establishment, they call it treason? Why should they persecute a brother for seeking black power? Don't they know a blind man could see that this is blatant hypocrisy? The real traitors and them are all high in society. Yet the government protecting all of them and penalizing you and me. And in a million different ways they violate the law. It's the same good no good bastards who oppressed it all. They sell in black market making excess profit, paying a starvation salary. These good citizens are the architects of economic slavery.
So if you're now joining us, and you don't know who is talking and in the studio this afternoon with us, Nicole and myself, we have here with us today Miss Sherma Wilson. And I'm really happy and privileged to have her with us today because, Miss Sherma Wilson will give you the raw, unadulterated
Facts.
Of how the thing is in the ghetto.
Facts.
Because there are some people who living who have no idea, or who feel that the people in the ghetto don't understand and know where they come from, and are open up to a set of small talk and illiteracy talk and things that just that superficial, not real. Not real.
So Sherma, you're an activist. When I asked you about yourself a little bit, because I am now getting to know you. You're an activist, you are also a businesswoman, and you also said that you are a retiree.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know which came first, the chicken or the egg. Were you a businesswoman first and then went into activism? Or?
No, activism from the young age of 17, 18 years.
You had this passion
just as I left school, we had a youth club. We developed a youth club and a village council in our community. And I joined the youth club, played sports, joined the village council, and, found it very interesting, talking about and dealing with village and community issues. And I think I got the passion from that. Plus my mom and they were involved in the village council. So that sort of, give me, the motivation to get involved in my community life. So
you were always the one that would have a voice, and if you would
one of the persons who one of the gatekeepers who would protest, and I protested in PNM face. I and people would think that because you come from PNM stock, that they would stand up and critique. No organization is perfect. We don't live in an ideal world. We don't live in a perfect world. So we don't expect a perfection from anyone or any organization. And PNM had their faults.
And still
have, right?
Still have.
So when we wanted certain things to happen in our community, we decided we're going to stand up and let our voices be heard. Right? We did that for our community center. When we found it was coming on board. Yes, they said coming on board, but it was staying a little too long. As young people would say, they were sticking. So we decided, hey, hustle it up. You understand? So I always stood up for my community, right? In terms of activism, get involved in the politics a bit more, became a political activist as well. I went on to work at HDC. I worked at HDC for the last 13 years as a social and community services officer, not academically qualified in terms of being a social worker. So it was social and on the community level. Because of my experience in the community, I was able to interface and liaise with people from different agency communities and all of that, and it worked out so well.
I want you to tell us a little bit of, because I know of what you do and how you did what you did in the sense of, and I always remind you of this in the years. So let's say Google, but where you was when all this was happening. I always remember Roy Joseph's scheme in San Fernando. Roy Joseph's scheme was known to be one of the notorious schemes in San Fernando.
That would be Carlton Lane?
No, Roy Joseph, we had a health center.
I remember I worked in Carlton Lane. Where the removal of those persons to relocation to
talk about that.
Current.
Because it's basically the same thing of Shanty Town to Mova, and how the people were not willing to move.
Well, I didn't work in Roy Joseph's scheme. I work in the Carlton Lane. And they were agency houses. They were like Nelson Street plannings. Yeah. And agency saw it fit at the time because of my social background, dealing with communities like Betham and Nelson Street, Duncan Street, now Carlton Lane. They sent me there, and it was a wonderful experience.
Talk about it.
It was a wonderful experience, interfacing with the people, understanding them, understanding their concerns.
What are some of their concerns?
Well, again, moving is a funny thing, and speaking about it would remind me of this young lady by the name of Nisha. She was a client of the HDC. I can't recall her surname now. I think it was under the People's Partnership. She was given a house somewhere out in Central.
Oh, yes. And they asked her, she said it was too far.
And the society made fun of that young lady. And I had to come to her defense. I remember putting up a post on Facebook. Because what she did, or what she said, or what she requested was nothing different to what Mrs. So-and-so would have made out of the public view. Right? Because having worked HDC for all these years, I would also have done oh Lord, what you call that again? When people acquiring the new home, right? We'll have to go out with them, show them the apartment, show them the house, show them what is happening with it, and get them ready, to accept, to sign on the dotted line for it. Nisha had a real concern, and we're talking about when people have to move and people don't understand that. Google, if I tell you now that I'm giving you a house wherever, you're going to take some time to formulate that in your mind. How I'm going to get to work now? What kind of mode of transportation do I have to? How I'm going to get my son to school because he's attending school here? You have all those things to put together. And that is what Nisha was doing. She's a poor woman. She's as a vendor at the Shogunas market, right? Where they put her. She probably have to take 3 sets of transportation before she get back into Shogunas. Right? She doesn't have the means to do so. And she asked them, how? And people made fun of her. So I just want people to understand, because I remember somebody applied for a house at the HDC. They was allocated the house. When they got the house was about 3rd down the street. But their lifelong dream was always to have a corner house. And the woman almost wanted to refuse taking the house because of that. She wanted a corner house. I am the officer there. I can't guarantee you that you're going to get a corner house. Yeah, you want a house, you get a house. You have to make the adjustment. Yeah, so moving is not always an easy thing for people. So we have to take that into consideration. So again, with the Carlton Lane people, that was some of the things that came into play. Google, right? The moving from San Fernando, where they are in Carlton Lane, where they probably had
walking distance,
right? So it's similar. It was similar. We settled them in, and everybody were happy eventually.
Well, let me tell you something now, because they live a stone throw away from where I am, and they're very comfortable.
Very, very comfortable. Nice, spanking, big apartment. Big apartments that are probably 2 or 3 times the size that they came from.
Yes.
In Carlton Lane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow.
And I think we must commend NHA and now HDC. If we check our facts and our stats, we'll see there is probably no other country in the Western Hemisphere that has built so many houses, developments in the Caribbean. Let's check it out.
Yeah. But
check it out.
And even while you're saying that,
and then we turn around and say the PNM never do nothing.
Well, listen to this.
We turn around and say that,
While you're saying that, what comes to mind? I have a friend, I have Alan nephew who came over from Canada. And when he came over, he was looking at what you all do in HDC as a social development. He said in Canada there is nothing like that. In England, there's nothing like that where people come. You all literally counsel people, if they can't pay their mortgage or they're going through some kind of financial issues. Yeah. You all are
we have a social department at the HDC
that sits with people and counsel them and encourage them to know, hey, this is just a storm or something that you're going through right now. You're going to come through it. I have a friend who went through. He said to me that was the best counseling and motivation session he has ever been through in his life. He said to me, the church he was going to couldn't even encourage him the way how you all did.
Yeah, so big up to our social department at the HDC.
I know what I like about what you all do before they give out the keys, you all do a skit.
Okay, so so we do that. That's with the actual ceremony.
Yeah.
Right, so our department will put on this skit, reflecting, of course, real life experiences that we come across in housing. Right, so people come, they ask for, I want a HDC house. They get the house, right? But sometimes we are not mindful. We are not respectful. We are not responsible. See, everything we try to blame government for, and we don't take responsibility. The easiest thing to do is to blame government. Yeah. The easiest thing to do is to blame government. So we get the houses. We wanted it. We waited long, some people, and you get it. So you're living in a development. You have neighbors next to you, close proximity. Sometimes it might be an apartment building. You have people on top of you, below you. Or if it's single unit, you have people next door to you. So you have to be mindful of so many things. So we get the complaints of the loud music. The person with 3-4 barking dogs in the middle of the night and probably an aged lady living next door. Right? And the way how people dispose of their garbage. the way how they move around in their homes, and so many other things. What you allow your children to do, who might allow the child to stay from upstairs and throw the wrapper downstairs. So we have so many things to look at when you get these houses, so that we have to take some form of responsibility.
Sherma, are going there, you know. I don't know if you know where I'm going. I'm going there, because I'm hearing you saying about being socialized. I'm hearing you saying that when you get this home, you are the way you're told how to do, what to do, how to maneuver, etc., etc. Do you also tell the new homeowners that you cannot not pay
and
the rent? There are people for 20, 25 years not paying the rent. How? I mean, whose responsibility is that? That's unfair.
And that's what the words are talking about. So sometimes through skits, we send the message. HDC, of course, are the administrative part of it. They also too will send out their memos informing persons. And of course, before you receive the keys, you get that briefing. The importance of you paying your rent or your mortgage, because that money is then utilized to build more houses for other persons who are on the waiting list as well. So again, it's about citizens taking responsibility. But I'm saying, the easiest thing or the easiest one, to point a finger at is always the government. While we don't take self-responsibility. So there's government responsibility and there's self-responsibility. And I think that is what is lacking, so much in society today, that we can hear people coming out at this day and age when we have a plethora of programs designed for everyone, for young people in particular. And you will hear people standing up, because who is taking responsibility? Are parents taking responsibility and guiding these children to these programs? And, uncles, and sometimes it's not only parents, the community. Where is the community that raised the child? Where that community gone? Where has that community gone? We must ask, especially in the African community, we must ask ourselves that question. That is why it's probably so easy for people to throw their narrative at us. Whereas in the other ethnic communities like East Indians and others, they have a culture of looking out and growing and the community growing the child, raising the child. We are lacking that badly. We listen to Minister Foster Cummins, and he's telling you about so many wonderful programs for young people. Prior to that, I could remember when PNM was beaten 33-3. The late Patrick Manning put on his sneakers, his jeans, and I think he probably would have started like 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. And he walked the length and breadth of this country. 33-3. Right? And he talked to everybody he could probably meet and talk with. Not only in rooms, but also on the road. And that is how he came up with all these programs, Hype and my lot, my part, and what have you, because what he recognized that yes, some people showed interest that we want to go and do these programs, but you know what? Sometimes you don't have the money to travel. Right. Sometimes we don't have money to purchase lunch.
Just stipend.
So he said, well, you know what? A stipend.
Yes.
And they were paid something like $800 a fortnight.
You know much
with a meal component.
You know much a person who going you know what a stipend is now? $3,000. Some people get in now.
That's the and the OJT.
Yeah, and the OJT just get more than some OJTs based on
your qualifications. You get more than that. You get more than that.
So when people saying that, oh yeah, there are opportunities to the young people, but they don't have no money to travel, and they don't have no money for this, and they don't want to eat, and they don't have this, and they don't have that. Those are lies.
The late Patrick Manning put that in place, and still is. It's still in place, where you have a meal component part of it, and you have your stipend to get at the end of each fortnight, right? So for people to say that, to spread this false narrative, and we are running with it. That's so sad. Some people are running with it, and I'm saying to
you, why
you
think they're running with it? Huh? Why you feel they're running with it? Why?
They are running with it because people always choose the easy thing, the easy way out, People always choose the easy way out. Nobody said life is going to be a bed of roses. Kareem is where he is today.
Tell us.
Because what?
Why?
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 Some days he go to school, some days he didn't go.
Yeah.
Some days he had think teeth, some days he didn't have think teeth.
Come on.
When his father left home, I didn't see the I never look at me here. When their father left, they were all at the age where I could have gone knocking on the social welfare door and say, look, these children have no father. He abandoned them, and I want to get a food card. I've never received a food card from the government.
I want to ask you one question.
I have never received a social grant or check from the government.
Wait.
I decided to put my hands to the wheels, sell Moby, sell breastbone, sell wings, send my children to school. You understand? Do everything that is legal. Never did nothing illegal.
I want to ask you something. Did the community in any way help you bring up your children?
But of course.
Nah.
But of course.
No, they didn't.
Of course. When I didn't have money to send them to school and I had the pressure, I said, oh, God, another day home. Go buy me so and tell she if she could send her $20 and then more $40, and I got it. And I got it. When I say I'm selling Moby, they patronize. So I didn't stand up in my house and let my children hear me saying how the government wicked and the government bad and the government how we suffering. I didn't do that, otherwise Kareem wouldn't be where he is today. And then my other child, my daughter is a florist today.
Got in one of the best floral shops in New City Mall.
Yeah, right. My two sons running a mini mart.
Yeah.
They know about putting Moby and pie on their head and selling to buy their own books. Because I didn't have enough money. We had to make up. Everybody had to put their hands to the wheels.
Right.
Do you understand?
Right.
And it was not about the government wicked and the government this and the government that.
So where that culture come from, Miss Wilson? Where that culture of, well, here now, because they ain't give me and because I ain't get, you understand? I hate and I disgust and well, that is why people choose to do this. I want to play it for you. That is why this is so prevalent.
Lord knows I'm tired, hear it. Protesters daily declare it. Bedlam Nelson no beat when you are fish up down the program. Vendors from Queen Street to Charlotte when they hot and ready to riot. What we do, like they what we teeth. Once I'm facing adverse conditions, crime is their fallback position. And to this mindset I just fall good grief. But I remember back in the 90s when they killed for Michael Hercules, shoot the famous prison commissioner. The mother said she boy was a hustler. But for crimes like murder, there is no good reason or rhyme. Poverty ain't no damn excuse for crime. No way, poverty is no excuse. You don't ever win but lose. But with upward mobilization, nothing beats good education. Next time a youth man say it, hit him a slap one time. What poverty and no damn excuse for crime. No way.
You see this song? You know this song was, well, you know this song was my anthem. No excuse. Look what you are saying. Come up with innovative ideas. And you are saying to me that the community rallied around you. They helped you. If you're selling Moby, they buying. If you're selling sweetbread, they buying. If you're selling for $20, they will give you because they know it's a set to help your children.
And Google, this is happening in a large scale way throughout our communities, you know. The gang warfare came in.
Tell us.
And of course, we had our social issues. We have to go back to, we have to look at it. You see, as I said, people, poverty has many faces. Poverty is just no money. Doesn't mean there doesn't have enough money. No clothes, shelter, or food. It is much more than that. And again, we're going to go back. Poverty is lack of leadership. If you have lack of leadership, you have lack of family support, that is poverty. That forms part of poverty. Because it's going to lead you in a certain direction that you ought not to be in. We have to understand our roles and our responsibility. Parenting is just not mom and dad. You're an uncle. So if you're an uncle, you have a role to play. to your nieces and nephew. If your sister children are not going to school, Google. You think that is not part of your responsibility to find out?
Of course
and
it
to
is.
assess?
Yes.
Okay. We don't have enough of that happening in our communities.
And why?
We don't. Lack of leadership.
Right.
Lack of leadership. Lack of that culture that has gone back then in our parents' days where the community raised the child.
Come on.
We have the modern day kind of parent, the teenage parent now who don't want nobody tell her child anything.
Yeah.
Who feel that she and the child are sisters.
Right.
And we could twin and we could dress up in our short pants and we could say, kiss me and suck me here. And we walk the road and we put our daughters up for sale. And then when things start to go bad, we say the government ain't doing nothing for we. That is what's happening here in Trinidad and Tobago, and in Trinidad in particular. That is what is happening. You understand?
So my question is, as the song says, and I know we are all saying the same thing, that poverty is no excuse for crime, correct? And you're talking about the community raising a child. But if the community is not doing their part, then is there any truth in the fact that sometimes because they don't have any support that they go on to crime? And I'm talking about the young people.
And why should they not have support? And yes, maybe that is one of the reasons why they end up in crime. That is why you see, youth delinquency will always be with us. Right here in Trinidad, maybe for other reasons, but youth delinquency is something worldwide. That the young people sometimes try to find, at that age, they're trying to find themselves. They don't know what they want, they don't know what they're about, they don't know what they want to do. They want to try this, they do wrong things, they muck up. Everybody muck up in life. But again, if there's a network and there's a support, we can turn things around or we can prevent things from happening. We have to remember we have barrel children here, you know. We have to remember at one time in this society where people was looking to America, greener pastures, leaving the children with granny.
That's right.
And sending the material things, the Jordan and the barrel and the this and the that. Granny enabled. Things went awry. You understand? Youth delinquency, crime and gang warfare stepped in. Yeah. So we have to understand all of that. Or the dynamics, right, of what is happening now and what we can do to turn it around and bring it around. And just don't use a big stick and point at the government. The government has their role to play. We can't be about of that. They have their role to play. And if we are truthful to ourselves, we are seeing we are a P&M government in particular. They are doing their part. When we compare P&M governance to Kamala's, let's just take Kamala governance in 2010 to 2015. They so love the African community now. They so want an African face. What did they do when they got the chance? They got one of the biggest mandates in this country, 26, with a partnership. What happened? What they did? Selwyn Ryan, they paid Selwyn Ryan from the Selwyn Ryan committee. He did the No Time to Quit Now. Beautiful study, project, document. Kamala, they use that. You know what came out of that? Let me remind Trinidad and Tobago what came out of that document. And he talked about all the youth at risk and all some of the things we are talking about now. And it had a sporting component. And out of that document came live sports.
Right.
And let me tell you, a beautiful program. In theory, a beautiful program.
Because they use
UNC use it in practical. And we got $460 million wasted. Our taxpayers' dollars, $460 million wasted. The young people got a meal from it, and that was about it. It was not about no skill training, no transition from delinquency to productivity. It was nothing about that. So you telling me today you care about the Africans in this country? When you did that with live sports, you used them. You use young black males in Trinidad and Tobago, and Trinidad in particular, between 2010 to 2015, under the disguise of the live sports, so that everybody can make the money. How much did the guy get? Daniels got?
About 200.
How much millions he got? And he used a chalkette and a whiteboard? And gone? The money gone? God rest her soul, Dana Sita Hall gone? route march and hiding somewhere in New York and others. That is what Kamala and the UNC did in 2010 to 2015. She won. Kamala and the UNC won. Don't let them fool you. They won in 2010 to 2015. Who went when Kamala won? Who won that at that time? Monilal won. SIS won. Temgo Pising. And I could go on and on. Jacona. $20 million fire truck. Anil Roberts. $460 million. Those are the people who won. When Kamala win, when the UNC win, everybody wins. They won in 2010 and nobody won except them.
One thing in life that you must avoid, guaranteed to drive you paranoid. Negative people, oh gosh. Negative people, they exist just to kill your dream, all your passion and your self-esteem. Negative people, oh gosh. Negative people, you alone control how far you could go. So take another road when they tell you no. To make you feel gun-shy is your only game. No matter how they try, they can't out your flame. So no matter what you meet in life, no matter the pain or strife, don't give up, no, don't give up. You only fail when you fail to try. So don't stop trying. Winners never quit. Quitters never win. So when the mountain you start to climb, one thing I want you to bear in mind: don't give up. No, don't give up. You wanna reach where the air is red, chant from deep within. Winners never quit. Quitters never win.
Well, you have to drop my little Kareem in between, eh? I have to drop my little Kareem in between. And let me say good afternoon to Mr. Kareem Marcelle. Kareem, behave yourself on the live now, boy.
Hey, he's on the live?
Kareem on the live, they say, get him, mommy, get him. Oh, Lord.
Just like he giving them every night on the platform.
Oh, I know some of the persons out there, they want to get in, but we will take some calls in the last hour. We're taking calls, but we have to, you see, Sherma, I remember live sports so well that boy, there were persons who lost their life.
Yeah. All the rogue elements. What about
the young man who nearly lost his life on the Lady Young radio announcer? We forget about that.
Yeah. Just imagine that a government minister paying to take the life. Yeah, of someone. A government minister. So that is who wins. That is who win when UNC win. And let me thank the person who told me it was not a 26, it was a 29 seat mandate that the UNC got in 2010. Just imagine that. You emasculated every partner in it. I'm seeing a document today from Dr. Devon Farage telling you, and we're talking about leadership, Google, and we have a serious choice to make in this country, a very, very serious choice to make in this country come April 28th. Because you can't tell me, for Christ's sake, and so many of us profess to be spiritual, to be religious, and maybe they are. So I want them to be mindful of all the good books, whichever one they are reading, whether it's the Gita, the Bible, the Quran, whichever one they read from. Right? And if you're a true believer in what you read in those good books, and you're a true believer of God, the Creator, whoever is to you, you ought to be mindful on April 28th. What and who you put in governance of this country to take care of our future, to take care of you and your children and your grandchildren. We have to be very mindful of that. When you listen to Dr. Devon Paraj, he did, and you read his article?
No, I didn't get a chance.
Let me see if I get a chance to read a little excerpt from it.
He said it to me, but I didn't get a chance to.
Right. He spoke to the direct leadership of Kamla Prasad Bisesa as he also been a cabinet minister. And it is so sad. Let me see if I can get it here quickly. He spoke about Google, that empty chair. He spoke of that empty chair at the head table in cabinet. You know who was missing from that chair, Google and Trinidad and Tobago? Tell me who was missing from that chair? The person who is in charge of the cabinet. None other than Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Many a times they attend those meetings. She was absent. We heard Gary Griffith.
Yeah.
I know we take this probably, I don't know if I speak on or what have you.
Yep.
Gary Griffith is on record telling Trinidad and Tobago back then that Kamla Prasad Bisesa, as Prime Minister, leader of government business, leader of a cabinet, had a 5 days weekend. So most of the time she was unable to attend cabinet meetings. She was unable to attend the parliament and unable to know or give an account of what her ministers were doing. You heard what Jack Warner said? Jack Warner made a profound statement. And sad to say, Google, every time I hear Jack Warner and his involvement in this 2025 election, all come to my mind is what he told that reporter. I borrow his statement every time I hear him. If I could have spit on you, I would have spat on you. You remember Jack Warner?
Yeah.
Not my words, Trinidad and Tobago. Jack Warner. And every time I hear Jack Warner as he shuffles around in his old age, I hope I live to reach his age and enjoy it with my grandchildren home and not in a political party trying to convince people to vote back Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Jack Warner is on record, and we take these things for granted. Jack Warner is on record saying that all governments, there is corruption. Yeah, we would have corruptions worldwide. In some form or some level. As I said, we don't live in an ideal world. He said, but the Kamla Prasad Bisesa's government between 2010 to 2015, he said every minister was corrupted. He said they would go down as the most corrupted government in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. And you know what he said? He said Kamla Prasad Bisesa knew all of it. She knew all of it and did nothing. That is the kind of leadership that we want back here. So imagine Kamla, she was 73 years yesterday, Google. Yeah? So back then, in 2010, work the maths fast to me. Almost 20 years ago, or 15 years ago, much younger, in her 60s, right? Unable to attend cabinet meeting. You could imagine Kamla now, who turned 73 years yesterday, getting into governance to govern this country. You can imagine that. Let's put Kamla up against the Honorable Stuart Young.
Who could be his mother? She could be his mother.
Right. Yeah. Sober leadership. And they're talking so much, about the PNM having a Chinese as a leader. I look at them and I laugh, and I look at it's Kuva North. Bazio Pandey, the late Bazio Pandey seat.
Yeah, his daughter is going.
But who is going up for the UNC? An African woman.
Yeah. So
it's okay for you to choose an African over a predominantly always held East Indian seat in Kuva North. It's okay for you to do that with the African woman, but it's not okay for the PNM to do it with the Chinese man. I said to hell with the UNC. I said to hell with the UNC and everybody else who thinking like that. It's okay to put Jolene John, a black face in Kuva North, removing an East Indian. But it's not okay for we to replace an African with a Chinese here in the PNM. You understand? You understand the narrative that they're trying to sell us, the false narrative, and what they are engaging in? So we definitely have to look at the leadership. He spoke about, Devon Maraj also spoke in that Eyewitness account letter, where she emasculated the partnership. Prakash Ramadar, she had ministers crying. He said it was all about a power play for the UNC. Nothing about the partnership. You know what she said about what he said about Makandal Dagger? He said Kamala refused to invite Makandal Dagger to any of the cabinet meetings. He was left out. He walked away from them, and you know what? He left us with a message.
Yeah, he left it a message.
He said he never see people thief money so as though they was making it.
Yeah.
Trinidad and Tobago, those are not my words.
Yeah.
This is Eyewitness account.
Yeah, and if I was at another place, I had a recording down back.
You understand? We had another minister, Hadid.
Yeah.
He said the people like rats around the woman, rats, thieves. In other words, he's telling us. So when the UNC win, is corruption win. The UNC win, you understand? That is what wins. That is what wins when the UNC win. And we're getting it from Eyewitness account. We're not talking about that Philip Alexander. Them sort of make my blood crawl. The kind of things that he talk about this lady and about her leadership and the lack of quality about this woman to lead anything in this country. And look at them all huddling together. Michael Harris put it right. And I think I heard Wendell Eversley put it together as well. And Dr. Devon Faraj, a collation of personal interests.
Yeah.
Why do you think Jack Warner, after saying all that about Kamala, and not all of that went on, right? Why do you think he would be interested in getting the UNC back in government? Because he loved Trinidad and Tobago? And he think it's the best thing for us? It's the best thing for him. It's the best thing for him, so they won't come and put handcuffs on him here. It's the best thing for him. That's his personal interests. They can't fool me. And I sure hope that they don't fool you all come April 28th.
So we're going for our playway recap. So don't touch your dial. Stay right there on Talk City. Your address for talk. In studio, Miss Sherma Wilson. Activist from the Beatum. You're getting it as strong as you can get it here today.
Sing sweet, sweet Trinidad. To leave here, boy, you must be mad. This is the land of milk and honey, rum and coke and easy money. While those verses we were singing, alarm bells kept on ringing. Pundits on each pulpit saying, oh heart and oh soul decaying. Suddenly we wake up to a living nightmare, not live while electorians ask, how did we ever come to this? But so long we hear it, you got to stand up and be counted. But daily we're intimidated. Every day I next to witness silence while we recoil from the violence. In our land there is a crisis, broke police, unruly ISIS, while sweet revenge gangs exacting. Police commissioner still acting Trinbago.
The winning numbers and the national.
Talk City 91.1 FM. Talk.
Peace and blessings be upon you, Brother Short Pants, and our beloved TNT.
Eastport
How was your week gone by?
It had its ups and downs.
As usual.
That's right.
I like how you punked on that. That's right. You send it down in your throat and you bring it up in the octave.
Right.
A Kaisurian always got to be a Kaisurian boy.
Music.
I'm watching you whole night. You're prancing up all night. You're dancing up all night. You're poking me all night. Provoking me all. If I only hold you tonight, it's stronger. I'm giving you thunder.
Culture.
We started the donkey in Carnival 92.
Right.
As a matter of fact, it was October 92. Yeah. No, October 91, man. We came back from Texas.
Right.
And we had a show there. Yeah. So like we started it in October 91 and then Carnival 92 now. I sort of just made another joke, but you know, made a little ad-lib about it. Using the Oakland War Donkey War. incorporating people that get involved in the dance and stuff like that, putting your man on your shoulder, put your woman on your shoulder and that kind of stuff.
Engaging conversations, latest news, our music. This is Talk City 91.1 FM.
The winning numbers in the National Lottery online draws for Wednesday, 23rd April 2025 at 10:30 a.m. Playway, the number 20, Dog. Pick 2, the numbers 33 and 25 in that order, Mega Ball called. Pick 4, the numbers 6, 0, 9 and 8 in that order. And at 1 p.m. Playway, the number 19, Horse. Pick 2, the numbers 6 and 30 in that order. Pick 4, the numbers 9, 7, 4 and 6 in that order.
Talk City 91.1 FM. Trinbago, proud.
We gotta save it. Oh yeah, my sweet TNT. Oh yeah. We used to sing sweet, sweet Trinidad. To leave here, boy, you must be mad. This is the land of milk and honey, rum and coke and easy money. While those birthdays we were singing alarm bells kept on ringing, pundits on each pulpit saying, oh heart and our soul decaying. Suddenly we wake up to a living nightmare of bliss while editorial fast. How did we ever come to this? But so long we hear it, you got to stand up and be counted. But daily we're intimidated. Every day our next witness silence while we recoil from the violence. In our land there is a crisis, broke police, unruly ISIS, while sweet revenge gangs exacting. Police commissioner still acting. Trinbago, it's high time we separate the goat from the sheep. Tell them talk is cheap. We're caught in the world when we have to reap. While them police busy playing hide and seek. We're facing the world when we have to reap. Hey.
So we're back with you. Sherma, before we go further, you know, there's something that I heard today. I was trying to find it in the newspapers. I want you to hear it. I wanted you and Nicole to hear it. I wanted Trinidad and Tobago to hear it. I want you to listen to this. Let me tell you something. This thing bothered me, you know. When I heard this, it bothered me. And you were just talking about truth. And you were just talking about people's conscience. And you talk about your fear God. Or you listen to something, Sherma. That, to me, I said, nah, boy, something is wrong with something is wrong with us. But listen to this. Listen to this, Trinidad and Tobago.
I'm seeing how much people supporting lies. We gotta be real. Either we is God-fearing people or we support shippiness in this country. This is why America going through what they're going through too. Because they support Trump. Because half of the Republicans, as we know, is really Christian people, Jews, and other religious people. The Democrats is not really religious like that, but mostly the Republicans. So they vote against a certain thing, which that is none of my business to talk about. But when I watched the papers this morning, the Roman Catholic, 40.1% supporting PNM, while 32% supporting UNC. Anglicans, 42% PNM, while 28% UNC. Presbyterian, we know it have an off balance inside there, but the point is, everybody dealing with God, the 10 Commandments, and what I just said before. Presbyterian, 53%, supporting the UNC, while 28% supporting the PNM. I ain't go through the rest of people because they're not supporting the other parties. Baptists, 66.9% support the PNM, while 14% support the UNC. 7 Days Adventists, which, believe you me, I don't say I'm my church, supporting the PNM 55%, while 21% supporting the UNC. Pentecostal 41% supporting UNC, while 36% supporting PNM. Well, the Muslim community 61%, while 13% supporting PNM. The 61% supporting UNC. The Hindus is 5% supporting UNC, while 38% supporting PNM. Hear this.
I want to get I know she read it. I don't know if she read it from the Guardian, because I feel it's Guardian because I watched through the Express and I watched through the news. I didn't see it. But see that statistic? Those statistics that she gave out there? Sherma, I'm lost for words. You hear that?
What's your take on it?
I feel something flawed where that is concerned.
Well, there's always that percentage of error in any poll that you take. Yeah. But I like the topic because I just spoke about.
That's what I'm saying.
I just spoke about that. Let's take a conscious, spiritual decision. Those of us who say we are spiritual, right? And we read the various good books. Yeah? And we're really conscious about who is God and who is the creator and what he expects of us. How we expect humankind to be treated. And you will make the right choice come April 28th. You'll make the right choice come April 28th. If you really go in your innermost, you go in your inner mind, you go deep down, you go in your inner room, and you really go before that creator, you will make the right decision come April 28th. Google, I just found the Devon Mirage article. I'll just read a bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I'm saying, this is not no platform talk. This is not no pecan talk. This is not somebody who won something from the PNM. This is an eyewitness account Trinidad and Tobago of somebody by the name of Dr. Devon Mirage, who was part and parcel of the cabinet and the government of Kamla Prasad Bisesa between 2010 to 2015. And he gave us this sober, he didn't mince his words about the leadership or lack thereof of Kamla Prasad Bisesa. He said Kamla Prasad Bisesa, a so-called leader whose tenure as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago was a masterclass in negligence. He didn't just said negligence, you know. There's negligence and there's negligence. He said a masterclass in negligence, incompetence, and betrayal. He says a cabinet member during her disastrous reign from 2010 to 2015.
This was a man in her cabinet.
Of course.
He was the Minister of Works and Transport at one time.
Of course.
So he's not talking about what somebody tell him.
It's an eyewitness account he's telling us here.
Wow.
He said he sat in those cabinet rooms, witnessing firsthand the chaos and abandonment that defined her leadership. I'm not here to mince words or soften the blow. Kamla's record is a disgrace. Her comeback is a delusion. And her frailty, both then and now, makes her utterly unfit to lead our nation. He said, let's start with the damning reality of her time as Prime Minister. Kamla Prasad Bisesa missed a significant amount of cabinet meetings. He said, I was there staring at the empty chair where our leader should have been, watching the void of leadership swallow any hope of serious governance. This wasn't a one-off. It was a pattern of dereliction, so blatant it left those of us in the room stunned. And when she did bother to show up, the whispers weren't just rumors. They were truths we couldn't ignore. She was often not herself, unfit to make decisions. Her presence a mockery of the office she held. I saw it with my own eyes. A prime minister who left much to be desired, let alone steer the nation through its challenges. I must confess all ministers, including myself, were all part of the conspiracy to cover her absence as well as her state at the meeting she did attend. The finance minister was forced to chair those meetings and salvage some semblance of order, while she either skipped out entirely or stumbled through in haste. This wasn't leadership. It was abandonment. She treated the highest office in the land like a part-time gig, one she couldn't even manage soberly or competently. I was there, and I can tell you, the betrayal wasn't just felt. It was lived by every cabinet member who had to endure her negligence. Fast forward a decade, and what do we see? An older, frailer Kamala Persad-Bissessor, daring to think she can waltz back into power. Frailer, yes, there are whispers, and they are growing louder, that she needs help to work, that she's late to meetings when she bothers to show up at all. While recent reports show her campaigning and making bold claims about a narco economy, they conveniently sidestep any mention of physical decline. But let's not be fooled by carefully curated appearances. If she couldn't handle the basic responsibility of attending cabinet meetings a decade ago, what makes anyone think she can bear the weight of leadership now, when age and alleged infirmity have only deepened her unsuitability? He said the pattern is undeniable. Her absence from cabinet meetings wasn't an isolated failure. It was part of a broader tapestry of unreliability. Missing cabinet sessions correlate perfectly with reports of her being late to political meetings. If she shows up at all and needing help to walk, that's not just a physical limitation. It's a metaphor for a leader who can't stand on her own, who can't carry the burden of governance, who collapses under the weight of responsibility. Leadership demands presence, decisiveness, and stamina. Qualities Kamala has never possessed in abundance and certainly doesn't have now. Who will chair the meetings this time when a frailty and unquestionable judgment resurface? Who will be the finance minister this time to chair the meetings? Jawala Rambaran, or will it be Ansel Roger or Philip Edward Alexander? Another unfortunate soul forced to clean up a mess? Or will she once again leave Trinidad and Tobago on autopilot, collecting a title and a paycheck while the nation flounders? The answer is clear. Kamala Persad-Bissessor is not just unfit. She's a liability. A leader who can't show up on time, who can't stand without help. Her tenure was a disgrace, and I saw it up close. Her comeback is a slap in the face to every citizen who deserves better. Trinidad and Tobago cannot afford to gamble on a frail, unreliable figurehead who has already proven she can't handle the job. Her past failures are awarding, and her current condition is a siren. We need a leader who is present, accountable, and capable, not a relic of failure who drags us down with her. I was there then, and I'm here now to say, never again Kamala Persad-Bissessor. She's a danger to the stability and progress of this nation, and it is time we reject her once and for all. The people of Trinidad and Tobago deserve better than a leader who can't even lead herself.
I want to
Devant
that's Dr. Devant, and he was a member of our cabinet. I want to just play something for you because I don't want people to go out with the idea that you're just coming here and ranting and raving and talking loud and don't have the facts. Listen to Sherma said something just now about what Mr. Jack Warner said. I want you to listen to Trinidad and Tobago to watch what the man himself had to say.
Of which we were critical. They're here. Let me tell you, that children's hospital was to be built on Pierre Road in Chagonas for $120 million. Out of the blue, the Prime Minister says she built it in Couva on, of course, a fault in the ground, but that's their business. In Couva...
No, was there a fault in the ground?
There is a fault in the ground.
I see, okay.
Well, and you'll hear more about that in a year or two. In Couva for $1.2 billion. Now here you're building a hospital in Couva for $1.2 billion. Why didn't you take that money and upgrade the existing hospitals? In Mount Hope, you have a children's hospital. Why didn't you fix that properly? I mean, at the end of the day, to maintain that hospital, just to maintain it, right? It's a fortune.
So you were on the inside. You were saying that anyone coming in, if a new government comes in and decides we need to get some accounting for all of this, we are going to find all these deals laced with kickbacks. And you're saying a lot of people should go to jail. Is that what you're saying?
I am saying a lot of people will go. And the reason why this government is fighting so desperately to win the election is to avoid that situation.
Do you think any party coming in, and in this case it would be the PNM, do you think are you comfortable that there is the resolve? I know you cannot speak to them, but from your observation and your knowledge of politics, you feel there is that resolve to do something like this, hold people and take them in?
Well, the PNM will not come in by itself. You see that first of all. And the PM,
that is going to be a condition for you.
Comes in with the ILP, you bet your bottom dollar. That is the way we are going.
In the United States, and
We heard it in every form and fashion from Jack Austin Warner. We heard, and that is why it sickens me when I'm seen shuffling around in his old age, trying to convince people to vote for Kamla Persad-Bissessar.
This is amazing.
So again, we're speaking to leadership. We heard about all the corruption. We heard about how they max out, and people like they can't fathom that good yet, Google, that the UNC government between 2010 to 2015, especially in the year of 2015, they max out every institution and every ministry, max it out by dollars and cents, not by performance, to make sure they took every last red cent. And some of those ministries and organizations still struggling. That is what PNM had to work with, and didn't complain. Dr. Rowley stood the test of time, put his hands to the wheels along with his other cabinet members, and did what they had to do to steer this country to reach where we are today. And we want to throw all that away to bring back a misfit. You can imagine Kamla Persad-Bissessar now signing off things where she didn't even know what she's signing on. They just put in paper in front of you and you're signing everybody going about the business, doing what they had to do. You can imagine that.
Wow.
They talk about the tax. I got a document.
Before you read that, I know Nicola has some information she wants to share.
Yeah. You got some bills to pay here. Let me just remind you. Let me just put up my. Yeah, just got to remind you that Easter savings still here, believe it or not. I know we're not in the Easter anymore, but I'm not hearing myself. I wonder if I put up my volume a little bit.
The wrong thing.
Oh, I'm using the wrong. Thank you, sir. There I am. Much better. Yeah, so even though Easter is gone, well, those Easter savings are still here at Furniture Plus for a limited time. You can 40% on certain ceiling mattresses, plus huge savings on accessories to complete your perfect sleep setup. Don't wait. These Easter deals are still here. Shop in store or online now at Furniture Plus. And, well, of course, this is important. Attention, special elector applicants. It's time to collect your special envelope for the 2025 parliamentary elections. Visit your selected EBC registration area office from April 17th to April 24th. Our hours for collections are Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Make sure to provide a valid form of identification when collecting your special envelope. A message, and this is a message from the Elections and Boundaries Commission, your partners in democracy. We've got a couple more messages. We'll take a little later on. I know that we have to open up the lines to take your calls, etc.
All right, so we're going to take your calls, but Sherma, you wanted to share something before we go to the phone lines.
To talk about the lack of integrity of these people called the UNC and their coalition. I have before me a document, this thing about the property tax. Ask the tax, no tax and PNM wicked. And there was this talk going around that some of the very same ministers, past ministers of the UNC, they have properties all over the place and they pay their taxes. And I was able to get proof of one such MP, former MP and partner in this pickup side coalition that she have there. And listen to the kind of tax this man paying, Listen to the kind of tax. And I have the taxes that he paid for 2024, 2023. In 2023, he paid $23,250.89. Add US to that. 23,000 plus US per year. Look it right here. I will share the document with you. In 2024, he paid $24,464.72 US in taxes in his property in Florida. You hear what I'm telling you? When I total up all the taxes for the year and some other properties that he have, the equivalent is almost what? 800 and something thousand TT dollars. We asking them to pay a few dollars here. In some instances, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, depending on the size of your property. But your property in Miami, you're making sure you pay it in the thousands and on time. And they're coming here to sell Trinidadians a narrative that they don't need. And again, I'm going back to those spiritual people. All the good books just tell them. My good book tell me, pay unto Caesar what is Caesar. You know that, Pastor Google?
Yeah.
Pay unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Pay your taxes. The good book tell all you that. The good book put all your camera up in all your face. Together with Prakash Ramadan and them, who paying the taxes all over the place, coming and tell all you ask the tax and pay them wicked. Sometimes we don't say the police too wicked, but it's all you were too wicked.
Mm-hmm. Let's take some calls on 622-4911, 622-4911, 622-4911, and you can send your voice notes on 3944911, 3944911. All right. So you need to call in now because remember we are out of here by 2:55 or before that. All right. Yes, Sherma, this thing.
I'm just going to before you take your course. I just want to take this, this proud moment to congratulate my son. We started off talking about the PNM, and if the PNM had been good to me. I came from Shanty Town, right? Beetham Gardens, right? And because of the kind of governance and policies from a PNM government or PNM government throughout the years, my children were able to benefit me and my children. My son was able to win a scholarship and attend the University of the West Indies. I know there are those on the opposite sides who try to play down. He went to Hugh Wooden Law School and he did everything, studied tooth and nail, and I was able to walk up. Imagine me, Dr. Ali said from Mason Hall to Whitehall, yeah. Sherma Wilson from Shanty Town to the Hall of Justice. Not for a crime that he committed, because he passed the bar.
Wow.
He passed the bar.
Yep.
And come April 29 or 30th, Sherma Wilson from Shanty Town, again, opportunities and policies afforded under PNM governments over the years. This Shanty Town girl will be walking into the August Hall of the Parliament. Take that.
Yeah.
Or let's take that. Take that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is what PNM governance is about. You think if I was a UNC that could have happened? You think so? You think so? I am a proud PNM. And I'm happy for my son. And let me tell all you something here, Trinidad and Tobago. And let me talk to my people of Laventille West. My son is a product of me. Love.
Yeah.
Kindness.
Talk to me.
Humility.
Yep.
You hear what I'm telling all the Laventille West, all in for a treat, All the infatuate with this.
But Sherma, before he was even,
well, oh gosh, they know that.
Before he was into the politics, I was there when Kareem will do his book drive. I am there when Kareem doing his Christmas. I am there when
Sporting
Kareem
activities.
So it doesn't have
and
to take
all the other things that nobody have never seen. That he did quietly.
Yeah.
Because the good book say, what the left hand do, so that the right hand know. And that's how I grew him up and grew up all my children. So he did a lot of things without any fanfare. Helped a lot of people. When I tell you, helped a lot of people.
Yeah.
You hear what I'm telling you?
Yeah.
Right? And I know Laventille. And Laventille, you know that, you know, because we feel the love. He does get it everywhere he go.
Let's go to the phone line. Sally, good afternoon. Oh, man. Sorry about that caller.
Again, another opportunity by the PNM. For having the foresight to see the potential of this young man to become a candidate in this 2025 election.
So when he walk around, he does get the love.
If he does get the love. But you're seeing it all on Facebook, TikTok, he paying up the videos. He does get the love.
Yeah. Yep.
Laventille people have a renewed spirit once again. Once again. It's a whole new chapter, you know. So it's not only Laventille supposed to be having that renewed spirit, you know. All of Trinidad and Tobago. It is a bold new chapter. And I'm telling you, Laventille people, what you see with Kareem Marcelle is what you're going to get. And more.
Hello, good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, Dr. Viewer.
Good afternoon, Mr. Parry. How are you?
Good afternoon, Mr. Wilson. I'm fine, thank you.
Hi, good afternoon.
I am humbly thanking you for all the good that you have done for your son and probably your daughters. We don't know much about the others, but Kareem, he has done us proud. I am also a single parent, as we see, with a graduate student with his master's degree, and I am saying many others could do. Miss Wilson, keep up the good work. At one time, I was an ardent provocateur of the PNM. But I want to say to you, keep it up, because this is where we got our bearing. Right? Task worker of the government. And I am saying I would hope and pray that our children of Trinidad and Tobago, those who are handling the guns, would put it down. I am pleading, I am begging. We are going to be a species in this path. Please, I hope that others would follow your son's and my son's footsteps and Mr. Google's footsteps, and I'd like to put it up into the lady in the studio. And please keep him there. That probably he would be a very good role model to the others.
All right.
Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Thank you so
very
much.
much.
Love you. Thank you so much.
All right. So we continue to take your calls on 622-4911, 622-4911 on Talk City.
Google, you know, I read Dr. Devon's Mirage account, and we have so many concerned, caring citizens who really love this country and who never had any allegiance to the PNM, who are telling us now bold-facedly, according to my good friend Marcia, right, that we ought to make the right choice. We ought to make the right choice.
Yeah.
And they're not telling you if to vote for PNM, but you know they're telling you, they're making sure and telling you, Google, the UNC cannot be an option.
Wow.
They just cannot be an option.
Let's take this call. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, my sister.
My dudu darling, pause.
Oh God.
Long time no hear this voice on the radio.
Congratulations. Summer.
Pause, oi.
I can't leave out Google because Google is the man who have it facts. And you know, your brother is on facts. You can't beat him on facts. And I know your sister, where she is now, she must be smiling and saying, God, thank you. Thank you very much for Kareem. And someone here was telling you, you see that youngster is as brilliant could be. I can tell you that. He worked with us and everybody spoke about him, boy. And thank God for him there. And all the lies that they're saying, boy, God is not sleeping. You imagine Jack Warner could have said all these things and come back and swallow up or chase him like a dog. Telling me that like a who. And he come back, boy.
Thanks for
And he
reminding
ever
us
tell
that.
you, you don't try to set me up already. He tried to call me and ask me, how did the enemy make me a senator? I tell him, I said, Jack, I don't need that, boy. I retire and I have a pension. He wanted to do like they do people put me on to say, the enemy's dog. And look, they ain't give me nothing. Not me. You can't stop me with that. And so when you know your brother is on facts, when I come on the radio, none of them could swear, none of them got it, none of them could tell me that they never tell me how crooked he really is and how to fire him because he didn't want to lie and talk about it. That is facts, you know. This is not makeup thing. When I see them going back there, boy, I say, Lord have mercy. $7 million for a fire truck, boy. And you going back there after the chase until they're going to carry him, boy. So, Google, thanks again for playing back these games, boy. I know they'll be griping because facts is a funny thing, you know.
Yeah.
You can't lie for long.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Polishbean.
Thank you very much for allowing me this contribution.
Nice hearing from you, man.
So we have some voice notes I want to play, and you know these voice notes are valuable voice notes.
Firstly, the Indians that came to Trinidad were the Gallo. They weren't Christians. They learned Christianity from the Canadians, the English, and those persons who were our colonial masters. Secondly, we must remember Aaron Robinson about moral and spiritual values. This is my humble opinion. Hindus do not possess moral or spiritual values simply because their teaching tells them about power. Right? Power. And power means being on top at any means. They would kill their parents, they will kill their brother for property, for ownership. They will send their daughters, their wives, to sleep with people for position. It's the truth.
Oh Lord, Kola, voice nota. You trying to get me in problems or what? Please, the views of the voice nota is not the views of me, Nicole, Sherma, or Talk City. Right? Please, voice noters, be responsible in your voice notes now. Don't try to get me in problems.
Good afternoon to the panel. I can remember taking in a meeting with Kamala Harris. And in the meeting, spectator said and mentioned the name Jesus Christ. And she simply told, she said, she told that person, Jesus Christ, don't call that name here. Go somewhere else and call that name. Go in the next meeting. Go in Trump meeting and call that name. And I felt sorry then because I knew that what she did was wrong. And also, she was supporting man married in man and woman married in woman. Here it is, I'm saying again, God is in control. UNC can't win this election. UNC could never win this election. You know why? God in control. They don't like God. They don't like God. Thanks.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google, Miss Nicole, and Mother. All protocol. Observe enough respect to you, Mother. I'm glad that you come and relate your part of your story because it's so real. So much people have gone through that and are going through what you're going through now and not succumbing to the wiles of people who don't have your best interests at heart. But nonetheless, I am thankful to you, Pastor Google, for bringing this lady on. Continue to bring people on with the facts, not feelings, facts. On another note, that article you're reading from by Dr. Maraj, Dr. Devan Maraj, you can tell me the date of the papers again, please? Thanks a lot, Dr. and listening.
Mr. Maraj just sent that out on a blast. I don't know if it's in a newspaper.
Wonder.
I don't think so. The
Did he
newspaper,
send it
though?
as a post?
Yeah, he sent it out as a
post.
post. He didn't send it out as a Let's take this foreign voice note.
Pastor Google, good afternoon. And to your co-host, Nicole.
You send the voice note and delete it? While it being played?
Well,
Oh, my.
probably is trying to protect you and the station.
I didn't want to do this, eh? I didn't want to do this, right? It's hurting me, boy. It really hurting me, boy, because I can't believe there are people who claim to say they're righteous and they know God and holding people in mind now, boy. You start saying it have a certain host and horses on this radio station, right? Hand me down, boy.
I think you were sending the wrong number. That's the wrong station. You sent that too, sir. This is the first time I played so many voice notes in how long? Since I started with K, let's take this for it. Why you keep deleting the voice? What kind of thing is this? Sir, stop deleting the voice notes now. You're sending the voice notes or you're not sending the voice notes? Alright, let's take this caller. Oh boy. That'll be too long to take this call. What's the time now? Alright. Nicole, you want to read yourself information that you have there?
Got my stuff to do. What is it? 23 minutes to 3 o'clock, and give me some music and just underneath the music for my thanks. So that look, a voice note just came in. I think attention. Something else I was supposed to tell you. I think oh, there it is. There you are. Yeah. I'll be talking about the Jazz and Wine. April 27 from 4 p.m. at the Open Air Garden Theatre. That's Queen's Hall. It's going to be a phenomenal musical cast. Nice people, complimentary wine with other drinks and meals on sale. The cast is ready for you. The question is, are you ready? Call 737-2373 or check 360 Events Official on Instagram for ticket information and other details. And Jazz and Wine is supported by Yellowtail Wines, Coca-Cola, The Naughty Grape, Blue Waters, Guiltless Yogurt, Sundays Ice Cream, Rita Juices, B-Mobile, Campari, Cascadia Hotel, and Caribbean Airlines. And this event is definitely more than just jazz. And of course, reminding you that the Lotto Plus jackpot is now a thrilling estimated $13.5 million. And remember, winners always play Lotto Plus. With these millions, you can dive into luxury and live. And just for $5 more, play the multiplier and you can win up to 1 million. On Talk City 91.1 FM, just about 21 minutes to 3 o'clock, coming up at the top of the hour, Rachel and Nigel taking care of your afternoon drive. But meanwhile, here we have the lovely lady, Miss Sherma, community activist, businesswoman. She says she's retired. I don't know about that, but yeah. Gonna take some more calls?
So you don't want to hear how I feeling, right? You don't want to hear how I feeling within myself and watch. All the telling people go and vote, right? That's the problem, you know. Let me vent my vent because I hurting. Is I hurting, you know? Is I hurting, you know? Not you, you know. So you don't want to hear my. You don't want to hear my. You see me? I good, yes. I good.
Probably have something mixed up.
I don't know, because since I've been working here, I never got any calls from this person. I've never gotten any voice. This is the first time I really playing voice notes to see like the amount of voice notes that we're getting now. So I don't know.
Those voice notes came in today?
Yeah, those are the voice notes that person's.
But did it come in this segment?
Yes, look, it was sent at 2:55.
Okay.
There was voice.
Well, 2:55 is now 20 to 3. Yeah.
2:55. Yeah.
No, 2:35. Sorry,
Okay.
2:35. His first voice note came in at 2:35, and he would have sent one today, earlier on this morning at 8:21, and at 8:25.
Well, then it could be just another wrong number you calling, because that happens.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because as anybody who know, I don't really.
His tone is telling you that something was happening. He was having a conversation, and he felt that he wasn't being given.
But it wasn't with me.
But that's what I'm saying. So
it's the wrong station. I think it's the wrong station. Yeah.
All right, let's take this caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Pastor.
Hi, good afternoon.
The first time with you on this station. What I don't want to talk there already. Anyway, I want to thank you for bringing on Sherma and Mr. Sherma. Even when Julia was on radio, I used to say, oh God, why she didn't invite Sherma to come, boy. Anyway, I don't know, like, I hear this guy did just tell the boys, so it's like mental health is a big issue.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Yeah. All right. Well, to tell you the truth, I just want everybody to come out and vote. And I like how Sherma put it across, because at the end of the day, there's a very serious election. And it had to do with the direction the country will be going in. And I mean, we have to have somebody there who can negotiate. And I ain't telling you who to vote for, but I follow the politics. I mean, we cannot go into this thing without really thinking about our future and how we want to see the country in the years to come. So I just want everybody go out there and vote, and maybe if we could have the country, in a continuity of development. All right? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sherma, I have a segment here for the young people. We allow young people to come in and share their views, share how they feel about the politics, share how they feel about governance and stuff like that. And some of the young people were really, really passionate about
What is available to them.
And some of them, when you listen to things that they talk about that concern them, boy, they're serious. They're very, very serious. All right, so let's take this voice note.
Hello, just a response to my fellow caller who mentioned that God is in control, so don't worry. The Bible says that God gave dominion over the earth. That means he gives us the responsibility to govern this earth properly. So it's up to us to choose good governance. And we know that the UNC does not offer good governance. So vote correctly.
Wow.
Well said, bro.
Wow. Hello, good afternoon.
Well said.
Okay. Wow. That's what we tell you. Sometimes you hear, you think people are listening, they're well listening, they're well listening. Let's take this one.
Pastor Google, good afternoon to you and your co-host, and to Ms. Sherma Wilson. Ms. Sherma Wilson, I always love hearing you. I think we need to get you back on the air. I don't know how it can be done, but we need to get you back on air. And congrats to your son, Kareem. I listen to him on a regular basis every night. Up to last night, I listened to him from out here. What you just read out there from Devon Mirage, I think that should be read out on the PNM platform from now until the election. I think that needs to be out there. Let's not keep it a secret. Let's put it out there. A lot of people don't know what is really happening. And to Ms. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, happy birthday, belated birthday. And I think that you should use this time to focus and think about the people who you have around you who do not have your best interests at heart. Because if they do have your best interests at heart, they will encourage you to go into retirement. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, caller. We have another voice note. People sending voice
Good
notes.
afternoon
boy.
to you, Pastor Google, and to Sherma. I just walk in and yes, I just go to say good afternoon. Have a great evening.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sherma, the time go on, I know.
How time fly.
Look how time fly when you're having fun. I'm seeing some voice notes, but I think I'm gonna have to play them from the phone. All right, in order to go Shims. So I'm gonna play these people voice notes, because I want to get both.
Trouble.
Yeah.
Morning, Sharon and Damien.
Oh, God, wrong voice note.
Good afternoon, Pastor Gogo. Good afternoon, Nicole. I thank you both for bringing Sherma on the show because she's so precise, so concise, speaking her truth and speaking to the nation and letting them know who stand for who in this country. Because a lot of us like to defy logic and choose chaos because we didn't get something we didn't get. It have no other government that could boast about building this country than the PNM. So thank Sherma for being so concise and articulate in your speech. Thank you. And congratulations. I love how your son carrying on, man. I like how he articulate just like you on the platform. Thank you.
Right, I'll play that one, Shims. I want to see if I get the next one. Like you're coming to take over, you know? Okay. I know what happened to this voice note, huh? Alright, so voice note, I don't know what happened there. But you had to come over. You had to come better than that. Who is this here? Let's see. What time is this one? No, this one is not on the show. Alright. So yeah.
So
Sherma?
people are listening to Google, and I always believe, and it's a fact. Evil could never trump over goodness. Negativity could never trump over positivity.
No.
And I think we have enough right-thinking moral citizens in this country.
Yeah.
Our standard bearers in this election that gonna do the right thing and bring home this election. Not only for the PNM,
but for the country.
But for the country.
Let's take
for
this
our
caller.
Children and our future.
Caller go on, yes. Caller the world. Well, they're hanging up, man.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, we have 160 persons on the live here. You know, and they are sharing their views. And you know, persons are this, you know, people thinking that this election is so quiet. And it's not, it doesn't have the euphoria and the euphoria as how, you know, the other elections going by. They find it sounds as though the young people are not interested. But, you know,
I think young people are very
much interested, you know.
Very much.
I went to the barber shop. Let me take this
And
call.
then when I attend the meetings as well, PNM meetings, I've seen a lot
The
of
young
young people
Yeah.
who
Hello,
were
good
not
afternoon.
paid,
Yeah.
who were not paid and bribed to get there.
Yeah. Hello, good afternoon.
Google.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to let Sherma know. Just yesterday afternoon, while listening to our program, two gentlemen was, I'm not calling any name, two gentlemen saying, before they go in your son's constituency and vote for him, better they vote for the PNM, the UNC. They'll waste their vote if they vote for Kareem. Two gentlemen in the evening program.
Yeah, well, that's on another station. You're not talking about here. Why you listening to them in the first place? Don't understand that. You're listening to them to come here to tell us what they're saying. Listen here. Listen Nigel Snipes. Listen Rachel Price. We're switching. Don't switch. Stay right here. After we are through here, Nigel Snipes and Rachel Price is coming on. Don't listen to anybody else.
Hi to Nigel.
You come in just now. You're going to see him just now. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Pastor Google. Good afternoon to you, Nicole.
Hi, sir.
And good afternoon to you, especially good afternoon to you, Miss Sherma Lewis.
Wilson, we winning with Willis.
I said Lewis, Wilson, I apologize.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Miss Wilson.
Yes, sir.
Something your son said, you know, on the hustings last week, and it has stayed with me, and I have to mention it. Because he was only 15, 16 years old in 2011 when that side called a state of emergency. And you know what reminisced stayed with him? Kareem said, I saw all these police buses lined up, waiting to pick up people that look like me. And you know what I studied then when he said it? I said, hold on. He said, buses here, there, and everywhere. Police buses waiting inside to pick up people. 8,000. But those are my words. But you know what, Miss Wilson? There were no police buses in San Fernando. There were no police buses in Shogunas. There were no police buses in Charlieville. So I say, but hold on. It only have crime on the East-West corridor then.
Seems so.
Huh?
And those are the same votes that they want.
And these are the votes that these people are looking for. And they snickered in the court when in the parliament when they said, "Don't worry, man, we go find something to lay the charge on them."
Yeah, they said that. So
I
lock
will
them
never
up
forget
first.
when your son, when Kareem said that stayed with me. And people must remember these things. And while they come into you and saying they love you, they come with a heart of stone. They don't care about you. They care about themselves, their friends, and their finances. And we must remember these things. Not one police bus in San Fernando. Not one police bus in Shogunas. But along the East-West corridor, buses to pick up people that look like me. You must remember these things when you go to vote on Monday. Don't be fooled. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Brian.
You know, as he raised that issue, and Kareem raised it the other night. I remember my brother, he's working Unicut. Now, he was on his way to work. No, he went to the shop to purchase some bread to make sandwich for his daughter for school. And somebody, you know, I can laugh now. Somebody came back and told us, look, Clinton at the bus crying. I said, but Clinton dressed me going for work. He just got to get a bread. So to make up their numbers, it's a numbers game. We must always remember that. It's a numbers game.
And I know Clayton really good enough. I know Clayton really good. I can imagine Clayton
crying.
Clayton will even touch a fly.
Clayton and the bus lock up.
Oh gosh. How will he get him out? You had to go and pay his bill?
But you remember that master stroke by our DPP and then who walked into the court? What hour the day or the night and tell them unlock those gates and get them out. You can't remember that?
Yeah,
that is how our young men were freed. Roger Gaspard walked in unprecedented and said, let them out. He had no reasons. No reason or reasons to lock them up.
And and people forget that.
Yeah, we forget that.
And at 15, somebody was 15 years old. Somebody was 15 years old back then. Remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was in his it happened in his community.
Yeah, and his uncle, who never damn a fly, who never have no run-ins with the law, and a police was crying. Detained
and we must just forget that.
Forget that.
Yeah, just forget that. Yeah. Last call quickly. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Pastor Google, this is Empress here.
Hi, Empress, how are you?
I am good. I'm looking on right now.
Thank you.
But good morning good afternoon, in fact, to ladies there, Nicole and Miss
Sherma. Hi, sweetheart.
What I'm calling for is your girl princess. Will be voting for the very first time. And she's excited. We are our electoral district is Maruga Chamberlain, and she'll be going down for the first time.
Right.
And she's a bit shy. Your girl is shy.
Yes.
But I tell her I'll call you.
Yes.
And we'll speak with you and let you know that we will be voting.
All right.
Red.
Yes.
Red.
Thank you.
Red.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Right.
Empress.
Blessings and love to you, Pastor. We miss you, but we know how things are.
All right, then. Thank you.
Love to you. Keep good until. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, Shanty Town here, so we have to say thank you to Miss Wilson for being with us today on Talk City. And
pleasure meeting you for the very first time. Thank you. And I notice after you become so feisty and so verbal, then you come down nice like a little cat, little kitten.
All right, so coming up next, we have Mr. Nigel's time. She's already. Yeah, go ahead.
No, just in closing, I'd just like to remind, Trinidad and Tobago, remind my brothers and sisters in the African community, and I say that without, fear of anything, Bob Marley said that in the abundance of water, only the fool goes thirsty. And that is exactly what the UNC and the pickup side takes us for fools. But we ain't no fools. We know that we ain't no fools. Right? Because they taking everything that this country had to offer. They and their offspring took in everything from education to culture to the arts, everything. Be wise. And on April 28th, make that right decision. Vote the People's National Movement.
At TTT, our journalists are on the ground, seeking the facts and reporting on the people, events, and issues that affect your life.